Thank you for joining us for this winter storm outlook, the latest edition taking us through the early and middle parts of March 2016, and some very interesting changes coming our way. It's been fairly wintry of late, but we are seeing signs of a very significant spring-type pattern setting up beginning next week and carrying on through a good part of this period that we're about to discuss. Here's a current weather map as indicated for, this is Wednesday, the 3rd of March in the evening, and we're seeing a very typical winter pattern set up here as far as temperatures are concerned, where quite a bit of cold air is pouring into the Great Lakes area, and further south for that matter too, even down into the northeastern part of the U.S., Virginia. The dashed red line that runs along Virginia and then up toward Iowa is the freezing temperature line. That's pretty much where we're seeing temperatures above freezing below that line, and temperatures of freezing and below as you get further north of that line. And so we see definitely a winter temperature trend here, and that's going to be the case for the next couple of days. There will be a little bit of snow developing that we'll watch in the next couple of slides. This slide shifts us into Thursday morning, the 3rd of March, and indicates a low-pressure system developing over the state of Missouri. That's going to be our next snowmaker for the Great Lakes region and off toward the east and the northeast part of the country as well. It doesn't appear to be something that will be developing very strong, but there will be enough moisture with it to generate at least some light snow through the lakes, and maybe a little bit more snow as we head on toward the eastern part of the country, over toward Pennsylvania and Virginia, West Virginia. As we further project the path of the storm that was in Missouri, this on Friday morning takes it over to the coastal Carolina area and wraps up some moisture with it, bringing that in and around this area of the system and pushing moisture back up into the eastern part of the country. In the meanwhile, the storm track from Missouri down through the Virginia, Carolina areas does have enough moisture with it on the far northern end up in this cold air to leave a little bit of light snow in the as indicated by the colorized shading. You can see the purple area across Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. That's a very light snow that is a portion of the storm system that we're watching here that centered over the Carolinas has quite a bit more to work with moisture-wise as it gets over to the east, and will continue to push up the northeast coastal area with fair amounts of milder air and a good bit of rain developing. This outlook shows the low pressure continuing to intensify along the coast for Friday night, and while if there were considerably colder air in here, there'd be more of a significant snow, we do see the milder air, the freezing line, running right up along the coastal area, and the storm also poised to head a little bit more to the northeast as opposed to the north, and as a result, this area will move off to the east without any real consequence as far as anything but a light snowfall across New England and the northeast. Here's the forecast map of available moisture to work with for the storm. And again, if you notice in the purple area across New York State, Pennsylvania, all the way down into the West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee area, this whole band really is a rather light area of snow. And we're talking about 1/10 of an inch of moisture, so an inch or two of accumulation would be all that we'd see out of that. If the storm system wraps up here, but again heads off toward the northeast, takes the moisture out of the way, and that's pretty much the end of that winter storm event, and kind of the end of winter weather as we've been watching it for some time to come. We're talking about some pretty significant changes coming up here for the next couple of weeks, beginning on about March the 7th and carrying right on through the 20th. We're looking at substantial warming. This map is a projection of Sunday evening, at which point we're looking at the 540, the freeze line that we talked about earlier, being pushed considerably further northward, back up now into the lakes area, whereas much earlier in the last few days, we saw that line running down here across the Central Plains and into Virginia. Now it's moved up this way, and with high pressure centered down over the southeast part of the country, we're going to start to get a good southwesterly wind flow in here. It's going to push a lot of mild air up this way, and temperatures are going to be rising throughout the course of next week and the following week to some 15 to, in some cases, 30 degrees above average. Just wanted to quickly share with you a couple of maps coming out of the Climate Prediction Center. These are the 8 to 14 day outlooks put out by NOAA and the Climate Prediction Center as far as expectations on temperatures and precipitation through the period. This takes us through next week, the 10th through the 16th, and shows a 70% chance of above average temperatures for the southern Michigan area, back across down into the Ohio Valley rather, and off toward the east, Pennsylvania and New York State. And really the only area showing any kind of below normal temperatures is out in the Rocky Mountain states, Nevada, and down toward the Las Vegas area. That's about the extent of any cooler than normal temperatures in the upcoming couple of weeks. And as far as precipitation goes, we don't expect it to be a dry time. It's going to be rather rainy at times over the next couple of weeks once we get by the upcoming weekend here and on into the period again for the 10th to the 16th, as this map indicates. A good chance of above normal amounts of precipitation, meaning we'll see showers and thunderstorms in here. And in the outlook that comes for next week and the following week, I think we'll be chronicling the potential for severe weather as opposed to snowstorms, although certainly as snowstorms are not entirely ruled out yet. We get toward the end of the month, we'll expect to see some cooling once again. But that wraps up this edition of the Winter Storm Outlook. Thank you very much for checking in. We will update this next week and expect to see and anticipate a whole lot of warmer and soggier weather headed our way. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.